Once again, also output projector thing. Get it over there. Damn it. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's right there, okay. Duh. Tags in there. Get the category in there and the actual title of the game. Okay, we should be good. Uh, I was started playing like an hour ago. Except that there was a major update to the game. It took about an hour to download, so cool. So we're pretty much gonna be going after Liara first. I mean, like first, but we're gonna talk to Ashley first. Also, there's some kind of weird things that I've noticed about romance options in this game. For one thing, I can't remember if I mentioned this while I was streaming. I'm not sure if I realized it while I was streaming, but basically, forgive me if I'm repeating this for people who are watching the VODs link. Anything, but Liara is effectively the OTP of the series in after a fashion, because she is the only character that you can romance both as male shepherd and female shepherd, and she's the only character who you can romance, at least with DLC, throughout the entire trilogy. Ashley, um, with Ashley and Caden, um, sort of, there's a falling out in 2. I'm pretty sure you can get back together in 3, and it turns out that Kaiden is gay in 3, or not gay, bisexual in 3, which is interesting. I mean, I've never. Well, he's never been alive, and he still won't be alive. But I'm a little curious as to whether he was closeted bisexual in, like, canonically a closeted bisexual in Mass Effect 1, or if we simply never think to flirt with him in um there really isn't a granted there is no gay option or male gay option in uh Mass Effect 1, which may be more indicative of double standards at the time. Sort of the masculine idea of, the masculine perspective of, well, a woman with another woman is hot, and since gamers are believed to be primarily male, then you know yeah. And I would assume that's basically the some of the logic, at least. I don't think, I think Free may have been the first one to just have any acknowledgement of gay characters in general, because Liara isn't is effectively bi, and I don't know. I guess it's gay men. I guess, yeah, basically. I really need to let me go ahead. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and considering that it's like the one thing casting a very noticeable shadow, which wouldn't be casting from Ellie. Shadow will be. I hope Shadow won't be as noticeable as. Alright. There we go. The shadow is still there technically, but it's not as pronounced. Although, at least the way the camera is, I don't think the camera's tilted. I think that the speakers are just not. Huh. I mean, it's hard to tell when looking at the back wall. It's hard to tell if they're just not even or if the camera's slightly askew. The camera might just be slightly askew. I don't know. Or it could just be the perspective. It may just be, yeah, because the camera's slightly at an angle, so it probably is just perspective. It's making it look like it's like the speakers aren't level. I mean, granted, I didn't go out of my way to make sure the speakers are level. I just sort of eyeballed it, but anyway, lack of symmetry here. We've got like three different characters back here we can speak to. I've been watching Jesse Gender's drunk playthroughs. I don't know, it might be a mistake because I'm seeing a lot of the character dialogue. I don't necessarily feel like repeating it.
Commander?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, sir. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
Sir, they have flashlight heads. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Flashlight heads.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duty squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Huh.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander.
Oh.
No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
We came as soon as we got the distress call, even with the fastest ship in the fleet.
You did the best you could, Commander. It's my fault. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
We never trained to fight synthetics. The Geth haven't gone beyond the Veil in 3 centuries.
Our training's supposed to make us able to adapt. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with a Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
Being a Spectre does have its advantages.
Exactly my point. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it.
But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this.
And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
Hold on.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
I'm kind of trying to decide the makeup of our Shepherd with regard to, I guess, law and chaos. And I need to see if I still have a text file somewhere of like I made like a kind of chart, I guess. I don't know if you call it a chart. Like it's like a table basically showing like Paragon traits versus Renegade traits. And one of them is basically law and chaos. You know, Paragon is doing things by the book. Renegade is more chaotic and loose. And the idea that I was kind of positing with it was that you can kind of be a little Paragon and a little Renegade, and you know, it isn't straight down the line good and evil. In fact, Renegade really isn't evil, not really. I mean, there are shades of evil by my definition, which I refined over the years. Um, in terms of D&D, I originally had the idea of separating out altruism and selfishness as their own axis. Um, and of effectively boiling down good and evil to um, good is that you care about the well-being of others, um, in a general sense, um, or an unwillingness to, or in general, it's an unwillingness to compromise the well-being of others for your to achieve your goals. Whereas um, if you're evil, you are willing to compromise the well-being and safety and just well-being of others to achieve your goals. So the idea was that you can be altruistic evil. You can be someone who does unethical experiments on people in order to find a cure for cancer. You know, the greater good kind of villain. Um, I actually shared that idea in a D&D group on Facebook, and a lot of the feedback wasn't very good, and or wasn't very positive on it. Um, and what I've come to is that I think my core idea for what good, evil, and light and chaos are is um is sound, but I think I need to keep the simplicity of the two axes, and then just you know the details of it are um kind of up to individual players. Um, so good and evil are still basically you see the value in um, altruism is effectively an aspect of good. Selfishness is an aspect of evil, but you could also, there could be a little crossover between the two. You can have altruistic intent and still be evil because you believe the lives of the few are unimportant compared to what you're trying to the good you are trying to achieve. Um, and Lion Cats are basically uh, also going to encompass different things. It could be the laws of society, or a structured society, or it could be a personal code, or a lack of a personal code. Um, Preferring to think on your feet and make decisions, moral decisions in the moment rather than.
Nice ship you got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
I think yours is definitely pretty much chaotic good. Pretty, yeah, pretty much chaotic good. And he probably is somewhat. He's probably overall chaotic. Granted, have this idea that basically being good makes you less chaotic than if you were chaotic evil, or even Yeah, I guess setting aside the free access idea, yeah, chaotic evil is is potentially more chaotic than um. Basically, if we threw in the free access, if you were um neither necessarily selfish or altruistic in your intentions, then you could be basically truly chaotic. Because you can't even be counted on to behave selfishly or altruistically.
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogan lived for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
They tried the same with us, but we fought them off.
It's not the same.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
Sorry, Rex. I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight.
Which they very do
So we
that.
leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
I just figured, but yeah, that would be the side. So again, I'm really starting to consider the possibility of, although I think it might be probably the crease, and the fact that this kitty keeps on getting behind the green screen, and I'll look into it, I suppose.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist? You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just
Except for
who
Pew.
we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You've got an eye for talent, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Yeah, space is big, yo.
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye.
Fucking cool. That's like a cool thing, although it's a little tedious if you don't want to, like, particularly for replays. Although I suppose that's what New Game Plus is for. I wonder if on replay you can actually get more XP from talking to people. Or examining things.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Something I've learned is that if you romance Tally in Mass Effect 3, well, we already, like, know, most of us already know this. We see a photo of her. In the original Mass Effect 3, it was basically a Photoshop stock photo. Here, it's an actual full render. Like a proper render of her face. Now, that's all well and good, but I would have really liked it if, you know, there's a scene in Rannoch where she'll, you know, if you do everything right, she'll take off her face mask and, you know, breathe in the air, but we only ever see her from the back. Like, it's a big tease. And it would have been great if that was a scene where we reveal what her face looks like in-game, in-engine. And I kind of wish they would have taken a little bit of extra time to actually fix that. Like, I know there's like the artistic intent, but the artistic intent is dumb. Like, that moment would be so much more impactful if that's the moment that we finally get to see her face in game. Instead, it's a bedside photo, and only if you romance her. So for Femshep, we'll never get to see her face. And for Male Shepherd, who doesn't romance her, and I'm not sure whether or not we're going to. I believe I heard somewhere that you need to romance her in Mass Effect 2 to romance her in Mass Effect 3, which is kind of weird. Because, like, one of the complaints I've heard about Mass Effect 3 is that it goes out of its way to appeal to newcomers. So, if you're just starting the series of Mass Effect 3, for whatever crazy reason, sorry, you can't romance Tali. If that's the case, maybe it isn't. In which case, there's a chance we might. Although, again, I still prefer her to end up with Garrus. And I'm not sure who I'd romance besides Tali at that point.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla, grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move.
I mean, I guess it's giving me my chance to hydrate myself.
Of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
You had to know it would blow up in your face.
The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exiled, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave...
There's other.
This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to...
Can a captain...
Sorry, if you want to see like all the war.
Make a good impression on a new community.
Can a captain shoot...
It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they... But virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumph. Like what?
I should go.
See you later.
I like played through all this like 3 years ago. I watched like the lore run. I pretty much.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, sir, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
This is bigger than humanity. Saren's a threat to every species in the galaxy, and I'll welcome anyone who wants to help me bring him down.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were one of the first reinforcements to arrive at Elysium after the Blitz hit. Those raiders were no match for an Alliance frigate. Of course, the only reason the colony was still standing was because of you, Commander. I can't believe you held out as long as you did.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
Paragade. I'm basically Paragade. Paragon and Renegade points.
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class.
Joker in particular, at least Mass Effect 1 has...
in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
Very uncanny valley with his facial movements.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic, but I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I have to go.
All right, see ya.
Okay. I thought we were. Okay, zoom out is probably what we want. This is Sparta! We got the beauty shot of Norway. Not Norway, Normandy! Okay, so this is Sparta. I don't think this is where we need to go. Maybe we just need to go to the system. Is supposedly where the Earth Day site is? Huh. Almost got glitched out. Wait, we need a loading screen for this? I think it might have been in Athens. We're not. I'm not seeing any like marker. Maybe I need to do a couple walkthrough. It might be a glitch. It feels like a glitch. Artemis Tau. Okay, so it's the Gnosis, so we're in the right one. It's on Param. See how the Mako handles in the remake. We can charm. We get a store discount. That's actually good. Intimidate allows us to sell for more. I should probably. We can just here with a battle helmet. Oh yeah, there you go, that's how you.
Commander, I'm picking up some strange readings. Really strange, like off the damn charts. It looks like it's coming from an underground complex a few clicks away from the drop zone.
It really doesn't feel as bouncy. I wish there's more like haptic feedback though. Yeah, like you get some from like the gun, but it'd be cool to have like a little bit just from like the feeling of bouncing around. I'm not sure if I'm actually fairly certain it doesn't support the like PlayStation 5. Well, you can play it on PlayStation 5, but I don't think it like uses the adaptive triggers or. Uh-oh. No, that's not it. How do I get...
All clear, Commander.
No, that's not it. Okay. Hey. I thought there was like a missile launcher. There we go. Yeah, it's the...
This route's a no-go. They have height and cover.
Neither one's still a no-go. There's no way to... If only that were facing the other direction, then we could, like, hop over the wall. I guess the plan is not... Either we have helmets disabled or... Oh yeah.
Think we got him, Commander. people have searched many generations for a world to call home. If we landed here, we'd just keep searching.
Like an oven here.
Why aren't we wearing helmets? Well, I toggled helmets in the friggin'. There we go. Like, we should be wearing helmets out here. I can't remember if there's a thing for. Okay. Oh, I saw a bogey in here.
Think we're good, Commander?
Can't forget the loot. Okay. This is all up again. Hmm. This scenery. Perfect time. The heck? How? What?
Negative contacts, Commander. My people have searched many generations for a world to call home. If we landed here, we'd just keep searching.
Ellie, what are you doing? We got raspberry jam. Yeah, I am. For all of Tally's abilities, oh yeah. Bam. Oh. And I really wish they would force some of the abilities you can get. Like the biotic charge or whatever the heck it is. Anybody else want some? Oh. Apparently, someone briefly did. There we go.
Negative contacts, Commander. Like an oven here.
Oh, there we go. I think we're gonna call it a night right as soon as we get inside. Well, let's head over to our outro screen. So there's a bunch of things you can do. Take a few seconds every time. Is this the... I think it's actually... This is even the pixelated version of the... There we go. Why aren't we using the pixelated version of this? Anyway. Took me 3 installments to notice that. A bunch of things you can do. There's a Minecraft album you can check out. You go to Patreon and vote for future streams using your wallet. In any case, thanks for watching. Until next time.